Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Slim. And joining me today is not just one of, but the most dominant running back in all of FCS this past season. And he has the numbers to prove it, nearly 2,000 rushing yards, up there with the best of the best at any level and soon to be in the NFL. But first, he's got to play at the Power 5 level with the Iowa Hawkeyes in 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, 5'9" running back, LJ Phillips. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
Hey, absolutely. I had your QB1 Aiden on earlier this season, and he said, man, you got to get LJ on. He's got a story to tell. Young dude, I believe it was your redshirt sophomore season this past year, if I'm not mistaken, where, I
Yeah.
mean, being able to do what you did, that's just unheard of at such a young age to be able to go out there and produce. And obviously, you had a whole lot of accolades and awards to your name this past season, rightfully so. And I want to talk about a few of them in a quick segment that I like to call resume rundown, where I'm going to do what I do best, and that show off some nice little graphics of what you have been able to do best. And I got to start off with obviously All American honors. You get those numbers, you get those honors. First team FCS All American. You are also a Stats Perform All American, Walter Payton Award finalist, one of the top offensive players in the country. Obviously, all conference first team selection as a running back, but you were also second team all conference for all purpose yards. And led the FCS in rushing yards, no brainer there. And then for the third straight year, you guys made it to at least the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs. So a winning culture, a winning mentality that you've been able to grow in with South Dakota, where those first 2 years you were there, 2023 and 2024, you were behind Charles Pierre Jr. and a couple of other running backs, which Charles, he was hurt this season, but he was an All-American in 2024. So obviously learning from a really talented guy to go off and do what you did this year. He ended up going down with injury, like I said, after a couple of games, and you ended up getting more carries, more opportunities. What would you say you learned from those first 2 years, kind of learning from Charles and getting a chance to learn the system to where you could go off and execute when you got these opportunities?
Just be ready. Just be ready. I learned from Travis Tice as well. That's my guy as well. But those two are great. I mean, we got Key and everybody else in that running back room. It was amazing. I just kind of had to wait my turn, which was very hard to do. I mean, we have great backs. I'm sure any of us could go anywhere and play, to be honest. But just wait my turn, and that RB room was so special. We all like hung out with each other. We're very close. It was kind of like whoever's winning, we just love to see them do good, and whoever has the spotlight, we got the spotlight.
Hey, there you go. And obviously, you had it throughout a majority of this season where it seemed like no matter who you went against, you were able to put up numbers. You were able to get yards for your team, fight through tackle attempts, and get into the end zone to put points on the board. And I mean, it just seemed like even the tougher defenses, like North Dakota State, obviously one of the top teams in the country, I believe they were the number one seed in the FCS playoffs, you were still able to get a couple good runs against them as well. What would you say was the X factor for you this season to where no matter who you went against, whether it was small time defenses or some of the best, where you could still find a way to produce for your team?
It starts up front, the offensive line. My job's kind of easy, just make the plays, but they're the ones doing all the dirty work. And, I've always been taught, from my dad, just make the first guy miss. So I think that's kind of what helped me to do the majority of what I was doing. North Dakota State's defense was phenomenal. I wish I could have that game back. I feel like I could do a little bit more. But yeah, just making the first guy miss. That's always the first thing that's going through my mind. So if I can make this guy miss, you never know what could happen. So
Hey, absolutely. And obviously, you made a lot of people miss throughout the
that's right.
season. That's
Yeah.
why you put up 1,920 rushing yards, 19 rushing touchdowns. I believe you had 20 total touchdowns on the season if you add in a receiving touchdown that you had as well, and 6.5 yards per rush. You had 143 yards and four touchdowns against Drake, had 244 yards with four touchdowns against Murray State. And it all kind of started clicking together in game 3 of the season against Northern Colorado, where that was the game after Charles went down. He was there for Iowa State and Lamar. And then you end up being RB1 the rest of the season. And against Northern Colorado, you had 301 yards with a pair of touchdowns there. So for your first game, really being that main guy, in this kind of system, knowing that this is going to be what it's like for you throughout the rest of the season, how would you say that game and obviously Drake that followed it right after and some of these other ones really set the tone for you to have these incredible games throughout the season?
I think just me being prepared. I've always been prepared. It's something I can always say I was prepared. Even when I wasn't playing, I was always prepared. Studying like I was a starter. So when the time did come and my name was called upon, it wasn't hard. I knew what it took to prepare and just had to go play ball. And I think each game it started to slow down. I started having more fun and I had more confidence in myself. And I think it showed each game I played in. And as far as making my reads and slowing down and doing all that.
Yeah, obviously you were able to go off for a 100-yard game after 100-yard game, had 9 games total where you reached over 100 rushing yards.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, absolutely
Man.
insane. I was also blessed to have on the podcast Joshua Dye from Southern Utah, who had some incredible numbers. I love you, Josh. These numbers are really insane, also. I mean, you two are the two. I'm blessed to have the two best running backs in FCS on the podcast from this past year. So thank you, LJ, for making this happen. And thank you for allowing me to show off your highlights in
Hey,
this
thank
segment we're
you.
about to get into called Make That Play, where I went through your film, went through every single touchdown that you had, obviously a lot of them, and I put together what I felt like were your top 3 plays from this past season. But I'm just a stats guy. I'm just a fan of the stands. You're the one on the field doing what you do best. So, what would you say was your best play from this past season?
Ooh. I have to go the South Dakota State game. My second touchdown. Believe it was let's say the first drive of the third quarter, I believe. I think it was. And just kind of I think that run, that was amazing against the rivals at home, sold out crowd. No place, no better place to do it than Vermillion in front of the packed Yotes Nation. That was my favorite touchdown by far.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was right outside my top three at number 4. That one was at number 4. I'm not even
There
lying.
we go.
Number 3, I'm going to start off here, and that's going against Murray State, was your 13-yard rushing touchdown there, where you ended up running out and down kind of the left sideline, breaking through
Yeah.
4 different tackle attempts. And you also hurdled one of them, by
Yeah.
the way, just fought through every single one. And you had one meet you right before the front of the end zone, and you fought through, powered through to get into the end zone to put points on the board. So showing that ferocity and that aggressiveness that you have. And that wasn't your only touchdown against Murray State. Obviously, you had 4 of them. And I'm going to talk about another one at number 2, which is your 70-yard rushing touchdown, going the distance, turning on the Jets. You showed off
There
the
we go.
strength
Speed
before.
back, speed back.
Oh yeah, now you're showing off that speed. You ran up the gut, broke through a tackle right after the line of scrimmage where they thought they were going to bring you down. You broke through, turned on the Jets, and they could not catch you. You ended up going 70 yards to the end zone there. Number 1 on my list, Drake in the regular season, your 50-yard rushing touchdown against them, where you ended up running out to the right side, juke past a couple of different defenders, breaking multiple tackles once again, and you ended up fighting through a tackle by the safety. You were going down the sideline. He's coming up, and it looks like he's going to get you around. I believe it was like the 10-yard line, and you
Yeah.
somehow stayed on your feet and used that to give you even more momentum to get into the end zone. So just showing off that IQ, knowing the angles, knowing what you got to do in order to help put points on the board for your team. And I mean, those are just 3 of so many plays that it was, like I said, it was hard to decide. The South Dakota State one almost made it in there. It really did. But I mean, this group, this offense overall, I mentioned I had Aiden on before at QB1. You guys had a phenomenal wide receiver in Lorenzo Fenner, who had over 1,000 yards there. Obviously, you at RB1. And then there was a great group of weapons overall throughout this offense. And got to give credit to the big boys up front, the offensive line. Obviously, you wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do what you could do without them. So got to show the big boys some love. Talk me real quick about the success that this offense had to be what it was this past year as one of the top tier teams in the country.
First of all, when you got Aiden leading the way, it's not hard, an incredible leader. I think, I've been very adamant about it. That's a Coyote legend, just the stuff that he's done. Aiden's just a great guy in general, great football player, but a great person. I remember when Charles did go down, Aiden texted me just saying how much, he believed in me and that. But Aiden's always been the same guy, even when I wasn't playing. Aiden's always been a great guy. So I think that's just having a leader like that you're going to go through a wall for is the key. And then we got, I mean, offensive line was great. They such an unselfish position. I've been the guy where you've had a block before and you don't get a lot of the glory and the credit, and it's not a fun job to do. It's not a sexy job to do, but you get the job done. That's why I try to give all the credit to the offensive line. And then boy, them wide receivers. I mean, you got Jack Martins, Tyson Bowes, my dog Zoe, and just so many key pieces to that just position. It's crazy the playmakers we had at wideout. I mean, we could probably throw any one of those guys the ball. My dog Javion Phillips, playoff P, you know what I'm saying? We could throw any of those guys the ball and they're gonna make a play.
Hey, absolutely. And you guys all made a whole lot of plays this past season, to which you guys were able to go off and have a 10-5 overall record, 6-2 in Missouri Valley Football Conference, where, I mean, that in my opinion is one of, if not the toughest conference in FCS. It's no joke. You guys ended up beating Drake in the regular season 42-21. Later on, beat them in the first round of the playoffs, I believe, there. Murray State 49-24 win there. And then Southern Illinois 53-51 win against them. So you guys left and right were able to just put points on the board, do what you do best. And obviously you yourself being a key contributor, and you nodded your head when I mentioned the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Toughest conference. And not only that, you guys played Lamar game 2 of the season, which they were in the FCS playoffs. You guys play Iowa State to open up the season, Power 4 opponent. Talk to me real quick about the toughness of this schedule, especially early on, where your first 3 games are going against, obviously Power 4 opponent and then 2 playoff teams this past season. How would you say that prepared you guys for the run that you were able to have overall?
Um, I mean that schedule's tough and the teams we play are tough. The Missouri Valley is like the SEC of FCS football. I mean, you don't know which team's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like you could be this high ranked and then this team that's low ranked comes out and beats you, and just the physical toll that it takes to be ready and mentally prepared. I mean, golly, boy, it's tough, and that league's fun to play in. You're playing against top competition every week. It's a tough league, and but it just prepared us, I mean, it just shows the resilience we had. I mean, we lose Iowa State, then lose a tough one to Lamar, kind of, got punched in the mouth at the beginning of the year, 0-2. And then, we won a couple of games, and then Illinois State, who was in the championship, they come in and beat us, and we had to win a lot of games to get to the playoffs. We had to beat North Dakota, we had to beat South Dakota State, then we had to go to Illinois State. I mean, that game was 5 overtimes. I've never played in a football game where 5 overtimes. That game was crazy going back and forth. But I mean, just the resilience. And we always knew in the building it was tough, but we always felt like it was stuff that we did. Teams weren't just beating us, it was always something we did. And the spirits were always high, which I could say is crazy. And, like even after Iowa State, going to Lamar, we had a great week of practice and, we felt good. And then even after the tough loss to Lamar, spirits are still high. We still believe in what we could do. And it just goes to show the resilience and the group of guys we had. And that's by far, I've been on some good USD teams, but that team right there is special because we fought the whole way through.
Absolutely. And you guys fought through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs and even fought against, I believe it was Montana there in the
Yeah.
quarterfinals, where you guys were still able to put some points on the board. But those first 2 rounds, man, I mean, dominant wins over Drake and Mercer. 132 yards versus Drake for you in round 1. Follow that up against Mercer with 160 yards and 2 touchdowns against them, which shout out to your guys' defense in that Mercer game. Held them to 0 points, one of the best offenses in the country, and you
Oh
guys
yeah.
shut them out.
Oh
So
yeah.
obviously, those 2 rounds in the playoffs, you guys, everything was clicking. Everything was going, 100 miles an hour for you guys, and you guys were able to keep up with the speed. How would you describe your guys' game plan going into, the playoffs, going into these 2 games against these tough teams, and how you guys were able to execute so well?
We just do what we did. We do what we do. Nothing special. We knew we had to play at a high level. Drake, that's a game I wish I could have back. I feel like I left a lot of opportunities out there against Drake, as far as, they did a good job. They were playing with me a little bit, as far as tricking my eyes and how the linebackers were flowing. I wish I could have that game back, but we did what we had to do. And then Mercer, that was crazy. That offense is really good. All week we were hearing about how good the offense is and all that, and then defense came and just put it on them. Just incredible plays. We used the weather to our advantage. A little Midwest team. Georgia. Not used to a lot of rain and all that weather, so I think we used that to our advantage. But I think we just, we fought so hard and we just kept fighting. I think that was the thing. And game plans are the game plans. But we went out there and we just played ball.
Hey, there you go. And Aiden actually told me about the Mercer game, how you guys went into one of the old pool
Oh
areas and,
yeah,
with
man.
had the
I'm
water
like
on the.
catching wet balls. I'm like, man, I'm like, all right, bro.
Hey, it got you ready. And
It
by
worked.
the way,
It worked. It worked. I'll give him that.
you said you left a lot out there against Drake. You still had 132 rushing yards, by the way. So I would have been
Wow.
excited to see what you could have done if
Yeah,
they weren't
could have done a
messing with
lot
you.
more.
Obviously, they
Yeah.
put a lot of pressure on you, and you still did what you did. And at the end of the season, obviously, with the numbers you put up, the accolades you got, with this day and age, you have to bet on yourself in the transfer portal. You put your name in there, and now I already see you representing Iowa, representing the Hawkeyes, doing what you do. Talk to me real quick about what made you decide on their program to continue your career, where you felt like they would be able to enhance you to the next version of yourself.
Uh, just great people. First and foremost, I love Vermillion, South Dakota. They took a chance on me. That will forever be home. And making that decision to leave was tough. I love South Dakota. I'm a forever always be a Yote. There's no question about that. I'll always be a Yote. But choosing Iowa, just the people, I felt, I'm big on people and I'm big on being wanted. I felt like that was the program that made me feel like I was most wanted. And just the people are great. And honestly, the Iowa people are amazing. They care about Iowa football. And, it was just kind of a no-brainer, and this team's going to run the ball and, you know, let's run the rock.
Hey, absolutely, man. You're going to be joining a great running back for them. I believe he's coming off of his sophomore year, where you guys are going to be a nice 1-2 punch in that run game for them, to where, he can help take a little bit of the pressure off of you, but either one of you can go off and get these big time runs and help out Iowa do what they do and go off and hopefully not only win the Big Ten championship, but go off and get a spot in the college football playoffs, make a run there. And I can already tell, obviously you've hyped up your teammates from South Dakota. You're already talking highly about Iowa and what they're going to be able to bring to the table in 2026. So I want to give you a chance to shout out some teammates, just as Aiden did for you and Zoe in this segment we're about to get into when I had him on, called Who's Up Next, where you get to shout some people out, recommend them for the podcast, where I can have them on to tell their stories, talk about their careers, about what they do best, just as you're doing now. So, who would you say is next up on the Slim Sports podcast?
Oh my gosh, man. You gave me a tough one. I'm cool with so many guys. Man, I have to go Charles, Key. If you could get Zoe on here, hey, man, I love all them guys. It's so tough. I might give you the whole offense. Ask them. Ooh, my dog, Brock, he's an offensive lineman. Ooh, man, just put the whole offense on there. I love all them. All of them would be great. All of them would be great.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, you guys obviously had some dogs, had some phenomenal players. I mean, I believe, three different guys, yourself, Aiden, and Zoe on offense, I believe earned All-American honors. Obviously, the offensive line was absolutely elite, which is why you guys were able to put up the numbers that you did. So I'm reaching out to anybody and everybody from South Dakota that wants to hop on the
And the
podcast.
defense, can't forget about the defense. Boy, Mikey Munn, all them. Shout out to all the defensive players. Get my dog Gabe Hartman on there too. Hey,
Hey, absolutely. Anybody from the Yokes, anybody from the Yokes
anyone
that want
from
to
the
hop
Eagles,
on?
just get them. That's the best I could do for you.
There you go. We getting them on for sure. And I mean, those are all great names for who's up next, obviously. Now we've got to talk about what's next. And obviously, you're in spring ball part of the season. You're going to have, this off season to continue to improve your body, get ready for the Power Five level, be able to compete with some of these top tier defenses in the entire country at any level. You got future NFL first round draft picks that you're going to be going against trying to bring you down on the ground, and you're still going to find a way to make it to the end zone. So, talk to me real quick about how you're looking to really improve this offseason, enhance your game to where you can continue to do what you're known for doing.
That's crazy, right? We talking about Big Ten. I mean, that God is so good. It's crazy to even just be talking about Big Ten and the goals and playing at this level is crazy. I'm forever grateful. And well, I just gotta do what I need to do. I need to work hard. I gotta, bump it up a level. It's a different level. I gotta bump it up, but I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I'm excited. The adjustment's been great here. Everyone's been great. The guys have been great. The RB room is deep. We got some dudes on there. My dog Xavier, Brev, Braden, Nate, and just we have so many. And my dog Tay. We just got so many dogs. But for me, just doing what I always do, put my head down and work. I have an old strength coach of South Dakota. His name was Mike. He just said, just embrace the work. And I was like, yeah, embrace the work. But like it just put your head down and work, and that's all I'm gonna do and keep doing. I'm gonna forever do that, until my playing days are over. Is just embrace the work.
Hey, absolutely, man. And as long as you continue to embrace that work, you're going to continue to put out a whole lot of numbers, get a whole lot more accolades, and hold up some more trophies before the end of your college career, before you end up making it to the pros and continue to do what you do at that level
Yes,
as well,
sir.
man. Beyond excited to have been able to get you on. Aiden was right. Definitely a great personality to have on the podcast. All smiles, all laughs, hyping you up. And I mean, man, absolutely phenomenal interview that we got to do today, man. So thank you so
Thank
much for taking time out of your busy schedule to hop on
thank
the Sun
you.
Sports Podcast.
Yes, sir.